Second is to describe the basic structure of epithelial tissue, including its modifications or specializations. Number three, you have to identify, compare, and contrast epithelial subtypes. So this will be our learning outcomes for this lecture. So before we go to the epithelium topic, we must have to know the level of organization. So I guess some of you knows this already. So in your preparatory medicine, in your first lecture in the cell, I think there's a mention of the level of organization in the human being. So the smallest level is what? The cell, okay? So group of cells will become
Tissue.
So group of tissues will become
Organs.
Organs.
and group of organs will
Organ
become
system.
the
Organ system.
comprising with the or different organ system. Okay, so this is what you call the level of organization. So I think you are done already with the first level, the cell, and now we will go to this second level of organization. So we will focus ourselves here as we go on along the way for this course all about tissues. So that's why you are in histology. Then later on, you will go to the organ system histology. Okay? So generally, there are four basic type of tissues. The first is your epithelium or epithelial tissues. Second are your connective tissues. Third, Third is your muscle or muscular tissues. And fourth, we have your nervous tissues. Okay, so all of this we'll have to encounter because these are the important basic tissues before we will go to the organ system. Okay, so of course, I am in this first topic. No? So we will focus on the first basic tissue type, which is the epithelium. So what is an epithelium? Epithelium is derived from two Greek words, epi and theli. So epi means on or upon. Then theli means nipple. So it is all So where can you find epithelia in the body or epithelium? So when you say epithelium, the singular, or epithelia is the plural component. So where can you find them in the body? So
Lining the internal.
number one is in the surface epithelium. By the way, please don't answer if I will not ask for you to interrupt. Okay. So the first, where can you find the epithelia? So you can find them in the surfaces, no? Second, you can find them in the coverings of your glands. Then third, we have what we call the specialized type of epithelia. Okay, so what are the examples of surface epithelia? Where can you find them? Okay, so all the exterior surfaces of the body. So imagine yourself if you are not covered by the skin. So imagine yourself if you are not covered by the epithelial skin tissue. Okay, so that's comprised one example of your surface epithelia. Another is they are also found in the closed cavities. So when you say closed cavities, those covering the cardiac, the heart, okay, those covering the thoracic cavity, and those covering the abdomen, okay? Or those, this is also called as the pericardiac tissues, or the this is the peritoneal tissues and the thoracic cavities. Okay. Another example of surface epithelia is that they also line the tubes which communicate with the exterior, such as your alimentary tract, no? From mouth up to anus, the covering of your mouth up to your anus, the coverings of your respiratory tract, and the coverings or the tubes of your genitourinary tract. See? So your surface epithelium is found in all parts of your body, the surfaces, the closed cavities, and the tubes. Okay? Another thing is they are also found in the glandular components of the body. So they can be found in your exocrine glands. They can be found also covering your endocrine glands. Okay? Then we have also what we call specialized epithelia. So these are found where? Myoepithelium. Okay? So these are found in your breast, no? For example, in the breast, the lining of your ducts, because there must be a myoepithelium in order for them to contract, to expel the milk. Okay? Then we can also find them in the neuroepithelium. Okay? The coverings of your retina. Okay? So it's a form of neuroepithelium, as well as in your tongue. Okay? Another example of your specialized epithelia is the germinal epithelium. Okay? The coverings of your seminiferous tubules. Okay? So all of this, we will go the examples one by one as we go along. Okay? So what are the functions of these different types of epithelia? Of course, because it's surface, it's a covering, it will cover, okay, as well as protection or a barrier or absorption. Okay. How about for glandular epithelia? The main function is, of course, because this is glandular glands, they are mainly made up of to function as secretions. Okay. How about specialized type of epithelia? Okay, so they are involved for contractions as well as specialized communications. Okay, contractions, as I sample, the myoepithelium in the breast lining. Specialized communication from the tongue up to the brain so that you can sense what is the type of taste. So these are lined by your epithelium. Okay, so we have what we call the important attributes of epithelium or important characteristics of epithelium. So what are they? Number one is that epithelium has a limited intercellular space. Number two, epithelium is consist of either a single or multicellular cells. And number three, epithelium exhibits polarity. And number four, epithelium is avascular. And number five, epithelium has a mitotic capability. Okay, so let's go to this one by one. The first attribute is limited intercellular space. What do you mean by intercellular? Okay, it's time for you now to answer. Any volunteer? Intercellular. Okay, very good. Between cells, no? So the space between cells. So in epithelium, there is a limited intercellular space. Okay, to show you an example, here is, okay? So the whole thing is an epithelium, okay? This is an epithelium as shown by this black arrow. So look at that. This is one cell, one cell, one cell. There is only a limited intercellular space. In other words, the epithelial cells are very close to each other. So they are friendly, just like first year medicine, no? So they are very close to each other because they are still new, no? They're still new. So the purpose is that it is a very good communication. So in order for them to be close with each other, so they have a limited intercellular space so that they can share. So you can share with your notes, you can share with your books and any other activities in relation to your medical studies. Okay. Another example is this. No, this is one cell. This is a squamous cell. Squamous cell. Squamous cell. So look at that. They have limited intercellular space. No, so talagang very close sila with each other. No, hindi sila malalayo. No, so they are very very close to each other. Number two characteristic or attribute is that an epithelium is made up of single or multiple layers of cells. No? So because most epithelia forms linings or coverings. Okay. So example of that is that this is a simple squamous epithelium. So you have only one or single layer of cell. One. This is the whole thing is an epithelium. Okay. Then this is the cell. So look at that, no? Limited intercellular space, and they're made up of single layer. So this is a simple squamous lining which lines your blood vessel. Okay, so this is a blood vessel. You can see red blood cells in the lumen. Okay, so imagine if this is a multiple layers of cells. Okay, so it will be difficult for the substances to go in and out, di ba? So, kaya the design of the nature is that single lang siya. Kasi ang function niya is this one. So that the oxygen and carbon dioxide and any other substances can go in and out easily. No? So kasi kung maraming cells yan, naku, mahirapan siyang makapasok or makalabas. Okay? As shown in this example. Okay? So this is the lining of our skin. Okay? So this is a multi-layer cells made up of forming this kind of epithelium. Okay? So imagine mo if this is the type of lining of your blood vessels. So it's quite difficult, no? So in other hand, imagine mo naman if your skin is lined by this one, by only single layer. Okay? So if only single layer, nako, malulusaw yan under the heat of the sun. So it is really designed by nature, the purpose or the type of covering needed for that body. So as a form of adaptation and homeostasis. Okay? So look at that. Now this is a stratified squamous epithelium because it is the most protective type of epithelium and it lines our skin. Okay? The third attribute of an epithelium is that it has a free apical surfaces. Okay? So all epithelia possess a free apical surface in some time. Okay? So it has three surfaces. The first is apical or apical surface, which faces a cavity or a space continuous with an external or internal environment. Second surface is the basal surface of an epithelium, which rests on the basement membrane. And another one is the lateral surface. Okay, but sometimes you cannot see these three surfaces. It depends on how the tissues are cut in the section. Okay, so let's illustrate. Okay, so the best thing to do is to look first the basement membrane. Okay, because if you find your basement membrane, you are sure this is already your basal surface. Are we clear? Okay, so if you find your basal surface, the opposite to that is your apical or the apical surface, which is facing to the lumen. Okay, so where is the lateral now? So the lateral now is here, no? The lateral surface of your epithelium. Another example for glandular. Okay, so this is a type of glandular epithelium. So again, always look for the basement membrane. So where's the basement membrane? Here. Base, the basal, base. Here. Okay? Okay? So once you find your basal surface, basement membrane, so this is already your basal surface. So where is now your apical surface? So facing the lumen. This is the lumen. So this is your apical or apical surface. Apical surface of an epithelium. Apical surface of an epithelium. Okay. So glad that if you have this kind of section, but if you have this kind of section, it's quite difficult for you to identify the surfaces. Okay. How about this one? Can you identify the different surfaces? Okay, so always look for the basement. So I think this is your basal. So this is your basal surface. So since this is the lumen, this is your apical surface. Okay, this is your lateral. Same as true with this other type. Okay, how about this one? Can you identify the different surfaces? Of course, so this is the skin, the stratified squamous. This is the basal surface. So this is your basal surface or basement membrane. Then opposite to that is the apical surface. This is the lateral. Okay. How about this one? Can you identify the basal, the apical surface, and the lateral surface? Okay, Dr. Pacoma.
The apical surface po is the one facing
This one.
the
Are you referring to this area? This
here po.
comma.
This
Okay.
one po, the big cell, the biggest po in the
How about the basal?
basal po is the one lining like at the basal
Lining
membrane
what?
po ay
Lining
white.
lining what?
No, that the white lines are no, the pink line po.
Pink line
Can
outside?
I annotate
Yes.
po, Doc, so I can encircle this one po,
Okay.
Doc.
That the red one is what? What surface is
That's the
that?
basal
Okay,
membrane
very
po.
good. Very good. How about
Basal
your
po.
apical?
This
How
one
about your
po,
apical?
it's
Yeah,
the,
okay. Very
this one po
good.
is basal.
Very good. Okay, thank you, Ms. Pacoma.
Thank you, Doc. I'll erase po.
Very good. Next, as I have said, for you to identify the surfaces, always look for the basement membrane. So I think it is well elucidated in your discussion in the cell, the different components of the cell. I would like to review about the basement membrane. Okay, so basement membranes are specialized layer for attachment to the underlying connective tissue. So this is one cell, and this is the basement membrane, and this is the connective tissue here. Okay, so the basement membrane, if you look at it under an electron microscope, it's not only a very simple membrane. It is made up of 3 layers. Okay, so under an electron microscope, you will see these 3 layers. Okay, actually 2, no? The basal lamina and the lamina reticularis. Okay, because basal lamina is divided into 2, the lamina lucida and the lamina densa, and the second layer is the lamina reticularis. Okay, but take note, this can only be seen under electron microscope. So under ordinary microscope, it looks like a one line only. Okay, one line only, just like this one. Okay, ito lang ang makikita natin under ordinary microscope. But if you use an electron microscope, it's not a simple basement membrane or a simple lining. You can see this two important layers. Okay? So lucida, it's called lucida because it is electron lucent, lucent. So very little staining in the electron microscope. So malabo siya. So lamina densa naman because it is electron dense. So very highly stained. And it is called as lamina reticularis because it is associated with reticular fibers of the underlying connective tissue. Okay? And the fourth attribute of the epithelium is that epithelium is avascular. By the way, before we go to the fourth, the third attribute about the surfaces, the apical, the basal, as well as the lateral, they are called the polarity. Okay, that's the polarity of epithelium. Okay, what do you mean by avascular? Anyone? Please raise your hand. No vessel. Any other
No blood
definition?
supply.
No blood supply.
No blood supply.
No blood supply.
No blood supply. Yeah. A means without. Okay, A or A is without blood vessels or without blood supply. Okay, but if they don't have a blood supply, okay, can they survive? Or where did they get their food? Because the food must be continuously nourish the epithelium or else they will die. Okay, so where did they get their food? Or where did they get their
Uh,
blood supply?
from the subepithelium layer of
Or what do you
the
call the
lamina
subepithelial layer?
lamina propria.
Lamina propria or the connective tissue layer. Okay, very good. Okay, so if you look at the epithelium, because they have limited intercellular space, walang karapatan ng mga blood vessels doon. No? So they are not entertained to be there. Okay? So, yan ang problem ng epithelium kasi sila lang, dapat kami lang ng mga lining cells ang nandito. No other types. So, they get their food, they're dependent on the blood vessels present in the subepithelium or in the lamina propria or in the connective tissue layer. Okay? So, example. Okay? So, this is your epithelium. This is your epithelium. The whole thing is epithelium. So this is a stratified squamous epithelium. And underneath or the subepithelial layer is your lamina propria. So you can see here blood vessels. Okay? May mga blood vessels dyan na maliliit. Another blood vessel, another blood vessels. So they're the one who give food to the epithelium. Food to the epithelium. Food for the epithelium. Okay? So that they can survive. Okay. And the last attribute or characteristic of an epithelium is that they have the mitotic capability, which is very good, no? Because remember, lining sila. So they are subject to constantly wear and tear changes. Okay? And this capability enables the epithelial cells to engage in repair and regenerative activities. Okay? So imagine your skin or the lining epithelium of our skin, if they don't have a mitotic capability, naku, namatay na ang mga epithelial lining natin. So hindi na tayo tutubuan ng another skin. Okay? So walang buring, no? So walang buring, walang dead cells. So because all epithelial cells, meron silang mitotic capability. Okay? Next, let's go to the division or the types of epithelia. So the types of epithelia are the following: surface epithelia, glandular epithelia, and special epithelia. So let's start first with the surface epithelia. So I will teach you how to classify and name surface epithelia. So I will have to simplify this for you to understand, because this is a very basic thing. Once we go from this, all of this will be mentioned from the very beginning up to the end of the histology course. So please understand this heartily and dedicatedly so that hindi kayo malito, no, along the way. Okay? So I will teach you the simplified version of classifying and naming surface epithelia. Okay. So the naming and classifying surface epithelia is dependent upon the number of cell layers. Number 2, the cell shape. Number 3, if there is or there are surface modifications. Okay. So the example of naming epithelia is simple columnar epithelia with cilia. Okay. Simple corresponds to the number of cell. If it has only one cell, it is simple. If it has 2 or more, it's already stratified. Okay. Columnar is the cell shape. Okay. And cilia is a type of a surface modifications. Okay? So the epithelium can be simple columnar only. Minsan wala siyang cilia, depende. So kung meron siyang surface modification, it is simple columnar epithelium or epithelia with cilia. Clear? Okay. So, number of cell layers, it can be a single or it can be multiple. So pag multiple, tawag natin stratified. Strata, kasi strata na, no? Marami na siya. So ito isa lang, one layer of cells. So ito dumami. Okay. How about the shape of the cell? The shape of the cell can be squamous. It can be cuboidal. It can be columnar. Okay? So, always remember, ang reference point natin is the basement membrane. Basement membrane. Basement membrane. Okay? So, these are the shape of the cells. Flattened. This is called the squamous, cuboidal, and columnar. How about surface modifications? Okay? The surface modifications can be present in the surface. This can be present in the basal, or they can be present in the lateral lateral surface of the cell. Okay. So this will be discussed intensively as we go along. Okay. So let's focus on the cell shape. So squamous, flattened. The width is much greater than the height. Kasi flat na siya. The width is greater than the height. So they are scale-like cells, or they're called squama. Kaya tinawag squamous. Squama meaning scale-like cells. Okay. Another is cuboidal, cubes. Okay? So the cells are approximately square-like. Square-like. So that is cuboidal. So they are described as tall as they are wide in the vertical section. Okay, so they are tall as they are wide in the vertical section. Columnar, columns. Okay, columns. So the height is greater than the width. The height is greater than the width. And they are taller than they are wide. Okay, so that's the description of your columnar cell shape. So let's go first to the simple epithelia. So pag simple epithelia, ano ibig sabihin ng simple?
One cell layer.
Okay, very good. So only one cell layer. Okay. So under simple, we have one layer of squamous, we have one layer of cuboidal, we have one layer of columnar. Okay? Then may corresponding yan pag stratified, no? Stratified squamous, stratified cuboidal, stratified columnar. But now we will focus only on the simple. Simple, meaning one layer of squamous, one layer of cuboidal, and one layer of columnar cells. Okay, so simple squamous. So meaning one layer of squamous cells. So the main function is to facilitate diffusion. So madali makalabas, no? Ang mga substances in and out. Kasi isa lang ang layer. Then they are flat. Okay? So this is an example. So this is the lining epithelium of your alveoli or alveolus in the lungs. Okay? Simple squamous. Imagine mo kung multi-layer yan, paano makadaan ang oxygen, paano makadaan ang mga substances dito. Okay? So that's why it is designed to be lined only by a simple squamous epithelium. Okay? So may nagno-notes. Okay? So this is the lining of your, this is one alveolus. The whole thing are the alveoli. So look at the lining. Simple, squamous, flattened. Okay? So another example is the lining epithelium of your blood vessel. So this is a blood vessel lined by a simple squamous, cell. So again, imagine kung stratified ang layer ng blood vessels mo. So paano makakalabas ang substances dyan? Okay? So along the side here, the lining epithelium of your alveolus, which is made up also of a simple squamous cells. Okay? So ang ganda ng design ng nature, no? May purpose. May purpose ang lahat na nandoon sa mga tissues natin. Okay. So another sample of a simple squamous lining is the lining of your Bowman's capsule. So the Bowman's capsule is found in your kidney. Okay? So this is a simple squamous lining, simple squamous cell. So this is a simple squamous epithelium. So again, remember, if it is not simple squamous, paano makakadaan ang mga substances here in and out sa kidney? So again, maganda ang design ng nature. Okay. There are special types of simple squamous, no? So we have what we call endothelium, we have what we call mesothelium. Okay. So endothelium and mesothelium are still simple squamous. Pero if they are found in the blood vessels, any form of blood vessels, they are called endothelium. Okay? Then this is also a simple squamous, and they are called mesothelium if they cover the serosal surfaces or the mesenteric surfaces. Okay? But again, these are only special names of simple squamous if they are found in the blood vessels and if they are found in the mesentery or in the serosal surfaces. Okay? So these are your simple squamous cells lining your capillary. This is the capillary blood vessel. Okay? And this is your serosal surfaces lined by your mesothelial cells or your simple squamous cells. Okay. So if you have to put at the clinical correlation, why is a simple squamous epithelium an ideal design for both capillaries as well as alveolar epithelium? I think I've said that already, but I want to know again the answers from the group. Okay, Miss Pacoma.
Since capillaries and alveolus, there's secretion that's happening in capillaries and alveolus. So needed na simple squamous products para to facilitate easier diffusion Second
Okay.
sentence.
Okay, so very good, no? So in order for the substances to go in and out easily, okay? Very good. So that's our clinical correlation for a simple squamous epithelium. So application yan, no? So hindi ibig sabihin, bakit ba kailangan natin mag-aral ng epithelium? Bakit kailangan natin mag-aral ng ganyan? It's order for you to know this one. Okay? So the clinical correlation or the application clinically. Okay? So we are done with the simple squamous. Let's go to the simple cuboidal. Okay, box-like. So the main function also is to facilitate exchange, but are more involved in active mechanism that require extensive organelles. So medyo, kuan dito, sa simple cuboid, medyo controlled. Okay? So the substances can pass through in and out, but medyo controlled. So dito mayroong localized lockdown. May localized lockdown. But they can, but the occupants, they can still pass through, no? But may requirements lang. So if we have to use an analogy. Okay, so this is a very good example of a simple cuboidal epithelium. Okay, cuboidal. Okay, box-like, square-like, square-like lining, square-like lining, square-like lining. So this is the lining epithelium of the thyroid gland. This is a thyroid follicle. One thyroid follicle, one thyroid follicle, one thyroid follicle, another thyroid follicle, and they are lined by simple cuboidal epithelium. Okay? Again, may design yan, may purpose yan. Kasi ang mga pink materials na to ay thyroglobulin. So these are hormones. These are hormones na dapat i-control ng mga lining na ito. Or else, kung hindi sila lockdown, kung hindi sila localized lockdown, ay maglalabasan lahat ang hormones na yan. Okay? Even if it's not needed, maglalabasan lahat yan. So medyo control dito. Okay? In the simple cuboidal epithelium. Okay? So another one is a very good, a very nice example. This is a lining epithelium of your kidney in the tubular component of your kidney. So in the renal tubules. Okay? So again, one cuboidal cell, and this is all your simple cuboidal epithelium. Simple kasi isa lang ang layer, cuboidal kasi box-like ang mga cells, same as this one. So again, water ang laman niyan. So kailangan natin i-control din, or else magpapasukan lahat ang water, maglalabasan lahat ang water. Okay? So may kaunting lockdown dito, may localized lockdown. Okay. And the third types of your simple epithelium is the simple columnar epithelium. Okay? So the main function here is absorption and secretion. Okay. Again, this is your columnar, fins-like, tall cells. If you look at the nucleus or the nuclei, they are in the basal surface. Okay? So there are types of simple columnar epithelium. Okay? So as I mentioned, okay, the main function is absorption and secretion. So we have what we call a simple secretory columnar epithelium. So ibig sabihin, secretory, meron siyang sinisecrete. Okay, so this is one cell, one cell, one cell. The whole thing is a simple columnar epithelium. Okay, basement membrane, these are your cells, the nuclei of your cells. And these are your secretions. These are the mucin, the white one. Okay, so the mucin secretion. So they are found in the lining of your stomach and the lining of your cervical canal. Okay. Another one is a simple striated columnar epithelium. Okay. In the simple striated epithelium, there are two populations of cells present: the absorptive cells and the goblet cells. Okay. So the goblet cells is the blue one here, And the absorptive cells are this one on top. So these are your modifications. The absorptive cells, of course, absorptive because they are for absorption and they have microvilli. And the goblet cells, this one, for the production of mucin. So they are seen in the linings of your intestine and the linings of your gallbladder. Okay? So this is an example of a simple tall columnar epithelium. Okay? So the whole thing is epithelium, epithelium, epithelium. Okay? Then you have only limited intercellular spaces. So you can see pag columnar, always look for the basal kasi ang mga nucleus niya, yung mga nuclei in the basal surface. So you can see the white spaces. These are your goblet cells. And it contains your mucin materials. Okay. Another one, you can see here, simple columnar epithelial cells. So again, the nuclei are in the basement membrane, but there are no goblet cells. So walang secretions dito. Another one, perfect, no? Ang ganda, a very nice picture. You can see a columnar, simple columnar epithelium. Identify the basement membrane. Okay, identify the basement membrane, the lumen. Okay. So I guess I will have to end my lecture here para hindi kayo malito. Simple muna tayo lahat. Then next meeting will be about stratified. Okay. So I need a volunteer before we end the lecture. Who will raise hand, please? Who will volunteer? Please raise your hand. Except for Miss Pacoma. Tapos na si Miss Pacoma. Iba naman. Anyone, please? Don't be shy. This is a learning activity. Sino yan? Ikaw na naman? Oh, si Makamay na naman. Okay. Miss Makamay. Nauna si Makamay eh. So, Arminita, si Makamay na lang. Nauna si Miss Makamay. Okay? So, can you also draw as what Miss Pacoma did a while ago? I mean, you can label. Miss Makamay. Miss Makamay. Okay, very good. You can draw. Okay. Based on that picture, can you please number from 1 to 5 the attributes of the epithelium that you can see from this picture? Miss Makamay, are you there? Okay, what is that number 1? Miss Makamay? Oh, mga shy ang iba. Saan na si Miss Makamay? Nawala? Oh, Miss Pacoma. Okay, Miss Pacoma.
I will annotate the document.
Okay.
No.
Oh, na-mute ka? Sorry. Oh, sige. Miss Makamay. Okay, my questions again. Based on this picture, can you identify the different attributes of an epithelium that you can only see based on this picture? And please number and tell us what it is. No, attributes. Epithelial attributes.
Limited intercellular space.
Okay, number. Put a number so that you will know what you're talking about. Number 1. Okay. As shown by in this epithelium, they are very close to each other, no? So walang intercellular space, limited only. Okay, very good. Next. Okay, do you agree? Single layer lang?
Yes, Doc.
Okay,
Yes,
yes.
Doc.
Correct. Oh, next. Okay, show us the polarity number. Okay, what is that? Apical surface. Very good. Okay. Another surface. Where are your lateral? You're not sure? Can you put a marker? Where? Where? Take time. It's okay. We are learning here, no? To make labels for gusto ko kasi interactive so that I want to know if you understand what I'm talking in application with with the with the picture shown for you. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Where? You can use other color for so that you can any color will do. It's okay. Another one. Okay, another one. Opposite, syempre, ang opposite niya. Where? Okay, very good. So you're right in the polarity. This is what? Apical. And this one? Basal surface. And from this picture, it's quite difficult to know where is the lateral. Kasi isa lang ang pinakitang epithelium eh. So we really cannot identify. So you are right. It may be here. It may be a lateral. It may be a lateral here. Or maybe a lateral here. Depende, no? But based on this picture, it's quite difficult. Pero mga lateral yan. Very good. Next attribute. So of course, can you see blood vessels around? Yes, no? So you can see here blood vessel here, no? Blood vessel yan. Blood vessel. Ito kasi may mga red blood cells. May mga red blood cells, mapupula. So they're the one who give to your food to your epithelium. Next. Of course, we cannot see mitosis here. No, wala namang mitosis na pinakita. Okay, so very good. I'm happy that you're able to apply the different attributes of an epithelium. Okay, next, volunteer. O, tapos na si Makamay. Sino naman? Oy, ako, matapos ka na. Iba naman, don't be shy. Oh, Mr. Orminita. Okay, so identify this type of epithelium. So, and support your answer. Why is it that you name that type of epithelium?
Okay, sir. This slide, sir. I mean, Doc.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a stratified columnar, Doc.
Ay,
Because-
nawala ako. Hindi siya stratified.
I mean, simple.
Hindi ako stratified.
Yes, Doc, I know. Simple because it
Sabi
only
mo kanina
consists of one.
stratified.
No, just confused, Doc. I'm just confused.
Oo, hindi
But-
dapat yun. Kasi I want to
Yeah.
know if you know. Okay,
I
again.
know, Doc. It is a simple columnar epithelial tissue because it only consists of one layer, and the shape is columnar because of the nucleus is located nearly the basal membrane.
Okay. Is there a surface modification shown?
No, Doc. There's no
Okay. That's
cilia
why
or
our
other
answer here is only simple
simple.
columnar
Yes,
epithelium.
Doc.
Okay, so I'm happy. Very good.
Thank you,
Okay,
Doc.
any questions from the class? So we will start stratified next meeting para hindi kayo malito. So I'm happy naging interactive tayo, no? Kasi boring naman kung ako lang. You have to do your part. And also, I want to know if you know that it's application. Not only the clinical application, but also based on the drawings that I shown to you. Because this is a very important foundation. Because as we go along, palagi yan mamimension ng mga lining epithelium. Okay? So I think we have 8 minutes more. So if no questions, I will call it a day, guys. Thank you very much. And I hope you learn our first lecture.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay? So see you next week.
Thanks, Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you,
Thank
Doc.
you very much, Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
I want to
Thank
see
you,
all.
Doc.
I want
Thank you,
to
Doc.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, at sandali, may questions. Naka-mute ka. Thank you, Doc. Thank you. Thank you, Doc. Thanks. Okay. Thanks. Okay, all thank you.